they have got the option, but they didn't want to go and find other partners and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Amit and I talked about it, so there would not be no guilt on my part, or it would have been on his part. But sadly, society wants something different for you.
Yes. Especially our
Coming from a South,
culture.
coming
Yeah.
from a South Asian background,
Yeah.
people kind of look at you and judge you. They watch you, what you do, what you wear, where you go. And I'm like, I'm not having any of this. It's got to break here because my girls want to see mum still living their life. We all go through our own grief in our own little journeys. But I'm thinking they're doing their own thing. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I decided that I'm going to live the best life I can.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the Brown Girl Rising podcast. Today, I have a fantastic guest and such an exciting episode for you. I have my Saheli, my friend Mina Kumari on the podcast with me. Mina is the original cheerleader of body confidence. She is a self-love queen. She's a color stylist. She's a body confidence coach. She helps women literally fall in love with their body, no matter what shape, size, or color. And she really is. Honestly, cheerleader is the only word I can use to describe who Mina Kumari is. She is the queen of self-confidence. And she's all about having women come home and be present to who they are today. And I'm so excited about this conversation. So Mina, welcome to the Brown Girl Rising podcast. How are you today?
I'm good, and thank you for having me, Oshi. It's
You
been a long time. I was looking at the last one. We've been trying this since July, I think.
Has it been since July?
Yeah.
Oh
Because I
my,
was trying to find your email, and I'm like, oh my God, we've started this journey since July. We're trying to get a date together.
yeah, I know, right? Well, we finally got you here, and that's the main thing. So, Mina, the first question I'm going to ask you is the same question I ask all my guests. What does it mean to you to be unlimited?
Wow, do you know what? I really had to think about this one, but it kind of came naturally. It's like, do you know what? It's being present. It's being me. Do you know what? When I talk about the authentic self,
Mm.
I feel that. I feel it from the heart. I feel that in the bones. And it just feels, for me, it's like I can actually do anything. And do you know what? There was a time I wasn't feeling that, but being this unlimited, thinking, wow, there's no stopping me now. And that's really, really how I feel. Obviously, I'll speak about my journey later on, but I think through my journey, I'm like, do you know what? There's so much to do, there's so much to give. And I just feel surrounding myself with the right people. And do you know this? It's like that. There's a little bit of a fire inside me, and that fire is getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh my God, I am going to explode one of these days. But I'm just feeling the bubbliness, I feel like my 16-year-old self. And
Love that.
that's no lie. Somebody asked me the other day, how are you? I goes, I feel like my 16-year-old self because there's no there's nothing absolutely stopping me, like with commitments. There's nothing coming in my way. I'm like, out the way, here I come. That's how I feel when you say, what's it feel like being unlimited?
I absolutely love that. And it's just literally, like you say, it's about just being able to do whatever you want to do and feel however you want to feel. So you just mentioned something about being your authentic self. So for those women out there who don't really know what that feels like, can you please describe what authenticity and authentic self means to you?
Exactly. And for me, it's like, what's firing inside me? What's my belly telling me? Is that, when we talk about the gut feeling,
Mm.
whatever I do, am I doing it to please other people? Am I doing it for myself? And then I'm like, no, my gut's telling me this is the real you. Don't do what the society wants.
Yeah.
Think, what does mean? Do you know taking yourself inside of yourself and saying, what is it I want?
Mm.
And to me, that's being the authentic self. It's not pleasing people. I think when you're not authentic, when I wasn't authentic, and you had to please the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me now, it's like, what does Mina want? What
Yeah.
does Mina want to do? How does Mina feel? If I do something that's not in line with what I'm doing, that's not being authentic.
100%. And so it's basically when you're authentic, you are literally flowing with ease, and life is just coming at you and in beautiful ways, right? And to me, you are somebody who is literally living their purpose. You are living the reason that you were born. You are living the reason that you are alive, and your purpose is to serve these beautiful women and help them kind of come home to yourself. So I guess the question is, like, how did this become your reality? How did you become a cheerleader and a body confidence coach?
Do you know what? I think I've always been that person.
Okay.
I think I've always, like, from a very young age, I think I was always caring about people. If somebody, like, say from schools, if somebody was on their own, I'd be kind of the first one to go there. And I
Mm,
can see those traits in my girls as well.
mm,
And I think when life takes over you after a while, and when I talked about not being the authentic you, becoming the people pleaser, doing what other people want, trying to fit into society and everything.
mm.
But then there came a time when I thought enough is enough. I've got to be who I am because of my journey, of what I went through before. And there was a purpose. So it took from 1986 to 2016, that many years, 30 years to be me, because I
Wow.
was living for everybody. Yeah, it's a long, long time. I was living for everybody else, putting everybody ahead of me and doing the things I still enjoyed, but always something at the back of my mind saying, should I be doing this? Could you stop questioning yourself? But
Mm,
in 2016, I came to be my own, and I got that validation from my husband to say, I didn't even realize this. And he said, I've got my Mina back. And I'm like, what do you mean? You've always got me. But then it flipped, and something flipped inside me thinking, oh my God, I haven't got to please everybody. It's
yeah,
me.
yeah,
So that's why for me now, my purpose is like, don't wait 30 years to become you and be, pleasing everybody else. Be
mm,
yourself. And I'm like, this is why I do what I do. And I don't want people to waste their lives. Although I had fantastic time in between,
yeah.
but I wasn't the true me.
So you've been through a lot of challenging situations, and you just mentioned your husband, and I know that you unfortunately lost him a few years ago, and I know that that was a challenging time for you.
Yeah.
So can you kind of take us through how that was, how you grew from it, and how you survived that and become this woman today?
So do you know what? Grief isn't easy on any count because I've lost my mum, dad, I've lost an elder brother. And the same year my husband passed away, my youngest brother passed away in January, then Amit passed away in September. So these are five key people in my life that I've lost.
Wow.
So grief becomes, you just deal with it
Mm,
because all this time it was like when my dad passed away, I had to look after my mum, think about my mum. When my brother passed away, think about my mum. And then mum passed away. And I'm like, okay. And then my younger brother passed away. But then he had his family, although, we're siblings and stuff, but he's got his own family. They're going through their journey. So I can't put my how I feel about my brother to them because they're going through their own grief. And then when Amit passed away, I'm like, there's no one else to please. It's just me.
mm,
I've got my two girls, but they're grown up. And my eldest one was almost the same age as me when I lost my dad. So I kind of understood what she was going through.
okay.
And life just kind of happens. And then you think the grieving process is different for everybody. And I was just like one of these people to say, okay, this happened. And funny enough, when my first brother passed, that sounds really weird, I'll number everybody. When my brother passed in 2006, Amit and I started talking about that one day one of us is going to go.
Okay.
Okay. So we had this conversation all the way through to say, if anything happened to me, I want you to go and live the life you want to do, even if it meeting somebody else. So we've been having these conversations since 2006. And now
Wow.
I said exactly the same to him to say, life goes on because we've got quite a few like women, like widows in our family, but you know, they have got the option, but they didn't want to go and find other partners and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Amit and I talked about it, so there would not be no guilt on my part, or it would have been on his part. But sadly, society wants something different for you.
Yes. Especially our
Coming from South,
culture. Yeah.
I was just about to say, coming
Yeah.
from a South Asian background,
Yeah.
people kind of look at you and judge you. They watch you, what you do, what you wear, where you go. And I'm like, I'm not having any of this. It's got to break here because my girls want to see mom still living their life. we all go through our own grief in our own little journeys. But I'm thinking they're doing their own thing. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I decided that I'm going to live the best life I can
Mm.
because the coaching journey is, Amit and I started together. What a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know is he trained to be a hypnotherapist.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
both, yeah, so we both had this vision. He was in IT, but he's done a bit of NLP. We did Tony Robbins together. So, we're always in that mindset together anyway. So our thing was that he'd look at the men side because Asian men don't talk.
No.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was going to do the men.
Okay.
I don't want to go in right deep inside. He's a very analytical guy. So he was going to do that. And then I was going to do the coaching. So if the men wanted to come into me take them forward, he takes them back and I take them forward. And I was going to do taking women forward because I'm like, we've already been through what we've been through my own journey. I'm like, they don't need to keep going back into, we can get them to the root cause, deal with it and move on.
Mm-hmm. Hey, sister, 100%. This is something that, I wanted to bring up actually, right? You said that you just, when you went through like all the 5 passings in your family, with your brothers and your mom, your dad, you said you dealt with it. Now, did you actually deal with it or did you put a lid on it?
I put a lid on it. I didn't read, because there was always my mom to look after
Mm.
or to be around for my mom. And then when she passed away, I think I started my journey. And I remember Amit always saying to me, he goes, baby, I can be there for you, but I can't feel what you can feel. Although I loved your mum like my own, but it's not the same. So we were having these hard conversations anyway.
Mm.
But I just felt this time round, when Amit passed away, I actually got some counseling.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did because I just felt this was the right time because I'm like, I've got to look after, I've got to get through what I've gone through. And I knew because I think I went through a little bit of depression when I lost all these people, but because there was so much to do, I didn't have time to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this time I went for counseling and I'll tell you one thing, it really helped me.
Okay.
And not only did it tackle my grief, it went through the other people I've lost in my life as well. And this is why I think I've grown into who I am today
Mm.
because of just talking to a complete stranger who didn't know any of my family. This was literally 4 sessions on a phone because I think it's through the count. You can get that through NHS and stuff. And it just helped so much because there's no one to judge me. And the other thing as well, I didn't want to judge the South Asian community. So I actually asked for a Caucasian person. I said, I don't want somebody from the South Asian community because it comes with a lot of pre existing conditions there because they know the South Asian community. And I just wanted something totally independent that I can just blurb out what I want to blurb out without somebody saying, yeah, I know it happened. I didn't want that. So I picked that up to say, this is what I don't want from my women now.
Yeah. And it's true, right? It's so cathartic getting it out of the body and into the space and sharing that and like maybe even journaling on it. And yes, you had counseling, but I know you've done more healing work, right? You've
Yeah.
gone to the depths of your
Deep.
soul.
I've gone inside
Yeah.
100%.
So what
And
kind of
that
things is
journey,
that? Mm.
so I've done, I think it's do you know what? I'm really not good at this, but I know I've gone really deep that it's gone back to ancestral, it's gone back to so many different things. And I think that's opened my eyes and opened my heart a bit more to understand who the true Mina is. And do you know what? One of the things that did come up was like she's missing dance in her life. And I've stopped dancing and I stopped dancing Garba and all that kind of stuff since I got married. And it was the biggest thing for me. I went on and off, because my side of the family were always 9 days, we were there,
Yeah.
literally. And then when I came into a new family, it wasn't as big a here than it was.
Mm.
So I used to take my girls, but not often like I used to go. So I feel sometimes like I should have done more, but do you know what? They've got what they needed culturally from me, which is great because they got a nice balance. So dance is one thing. So I've started going back into like going to dancing. If there's music, my Bollywood music, and because music's the one thing that's kept me going. I don't think there's certain artists and stuff I couldn't listen to. I'm just over 2 years of losing Amit, and now it's all coming back. Do you know there's things like painting my nails red? It's the first time in 2 years I've had my nails painted red. So it's a massive, massive thing. I had when I did my event a couple of weeks ago, I had red lipstick on. It's the first time I put red lipstick on. I thought it'd be a bit too much first thing in the morning.
So actually, I want to talk about that, right? Because a lot of
Yeah,
people, when you become a widow, obviously, I don't know,
yeah.
you become a widow, you know, the association is that you are going to be in mourning and you're going to have a lot of grief and your color sense is going to disappear, right? Like black and white is the colors I associate. Okay, I know I'm wearing white today, but it's
No,
a
no,
white. But you know what I mean? A black and white is a color associated with grief and widow.
yeah, brief, yeah.
Now, when I see you, Mina Kumari, it is like a rainbow of colors. I could never imagine you toning down yourself to be in a grief-stricken place.
Yeah.
Where did this color thing come from? Why did you decide to embrace color?
Do you know what? It's I've seen so many people, especially in my family, they've always worn color. It's been encouraged.
Okay.
Okay, all my babbies, my mum. It's like you don't lose your identity. You know, you've lost your partner. You're still alive.
Mm.
You are still alive. So they've kind of been my kind of inspiration in some ways of how they live their life. But I think I've come into my own thinking, red, it was mine and Amit's favorite color. He loved me in red. So red, so having my always used to like when I used to have nude colors, he's going, what's the point of having your nails done? Always used to have,
I associate red with you. Blazers,
yeah,
shoes. I remember when we went shopping, you know, red shoes. Like, I'm like,
yeah, because it's my favorite color. I'm like, okay, do you know what? The love of my life has passed away.
yeah.
He would have never given his pink shirts up for me. I always laugh at this because he used to love his pinks, right? His shirts and stuff. And I'm like, so why should I? He's always going to be part of me because I've got two beautiful girls. That's a constant reminder that this is where they've come from, right? So why would I want to change who I am? I am that colorful person.
Mm.
And it makes me happy with I've got black and white on today, right? But again, I love black and white. And it's not because it's morning. I just love it. Sometimes it looks smart. But
Yeah.
I do love my branding colors are red.
Yes.
And I embrace that red. And I'm like, yes, okay, I can't wear when it comes to Asian wear, red's very, very difficult for me to wear. Red sari, red suits, red junni,
Hey.
because I think it's culturally,
Is it
I find it
associated with
difficult at the
weddings
moment.
and bridal? Is
Yeah,
that really,
yeah. And
interesting.
I think in my head, there's something there that's really kind of stopping you at this, like I keep saying, at this present moment. Who knows? If I had to wear a red top, if I was going out for Christmas, if I was going out for dinner, I wear red tops.
Yeah.
I wear like red earrings. I wear red everything. But because it's Indian culture, I don't know, there's something must be subconsciously in the back of my mind, but I just can't see red. I have a meltdown. If I have to go to a function, my wardrobe is full of red saris, always got loads of red in my saris. So I've got a whole section of them with all red. And I just look and I will, when you talked about how do I cope, I have my moments where
Mm.
I literally I want to scream, shout, thinking, you want to scream to say, it's not right. I should be wearing these colors. What's stopping me? But I just can't do it. But I know it will come
It will come.
because in my heart of hearts saying I'm not ready yet. So I'm not going to force myself to do something. And that's one thing I will always say. Don't force yourself to do anything the right timing. Like I didn't do my nails for 2 years because every time I went there, I went to the nail bar and stuff like that. And they kind of know me, like always have red, but they just give me the red, that they give you the
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah, the
They
palette.
just
Yeah.
put me there thinking you're going to just pink a shade of red. And the first couple of times I had a meltdown. I've got so tearful. I'm like, no, I'll just have the nudes. They goes, I remember the first time I had it is Christmas, the first Christmas after he passed away. And I was looking for the nudes. He goes, don't you want red? And I'm like, no. Don't you want sparkle? No. I just didn't feel it.
But here
So,
you are
when you talk
today,
grief,
feeling.
it does happen. Do you know what? It can come anytime. I could
Mm.
be just like today, sitting with the girls, we're just laughing about their dad and stuff like that. He would absolutely love it. Silly little things. kind of, you well up because you miss that person, because you want them to be in your surrounding
Mm.
and enjoy the moments when your children are doing things. But do you know what? I am going to be that person to say, when I'm ready, I will wear that.
So let's talk about what you do. So
Okay.
as I said in your intro, you are a body confidence coach, you are a cheerleader, sorry. What is it that you actually do, and how did you become this cheerleader?
Okay, so 2016 now, Abby got a job in Singapore. So I gave up my banking. I was in banking for 25 years. So I was a bank manager for 25 years, gave that up. And he goes, oh, because I couldn't get a job there. He goes, just become a wife. Just become a wife.
Oh,
I was
why?
like, okay, because I've
I mean,
not been
I'm
a wife for
down.
30, because I've not been a wife for 30 years, mate, right? So I'll be a
I'm
wife.
a real
So I
wife,
became,
Mina.
exactly, stayed at home. I loved it. We went to Singapore for the first 3 months. I was this party animal. You could go out, met a lot of expats. I was the proper typical
And I can
expat
see
wife.
that. I can see that because when
Yeah,
we've been out, you are definitely up for the dance floor. And I love that about you because that is exactly me as well. Like, music is
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Exactly, just gets me going. And then obviously I'm slightly voluptuous and stuff. So there's a lot of women who started asking me to say, you look really good. Love your style. Would you help us? And I'm like, wow, this is just people in my condo and stuff. And all of a sudden, when I was coming to the UK, I started shopping for some of these women.
Okay.
They just loved the clothes that I wore. So I was kind of measuring them up and getting stuff over for them. And then I met this amazing, she was a stylist out in it, from India in Singapore. Sorry, there's a dog here who's just been into my bag, picked everything up. There we go.
Off you go.
So I trained, she goes, Mina, why don't you try this? So I did. I became a stylist and a colorist. So I started doing that. And then what happened was when I was dressing these women, I couldn't see that twinkle that I was looking for. Put them
Mm.
in front of the mirror. And do you know what came to me? It's like, Mina, this was you. You looked great on the outside, but there was something inside you that wasn't sitting right. Although
Mm.
everyone said, my God, you look amazing, da 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 da. I knew what I felt, and that's what I saw in these women. So
Mm.
I had to go and find somewhere where I could study body confidence. So I
Mm.
did it. And you know what? By some of the training I had when I was dressing these women, and then I learned the technique of speaking to them and how to do it. And I can see that sparkle. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. So this is why I flipped it around now. So I do more body confidence because I know the love-hate relationship I had with my body over the years through postnatal depression, and I have talked about a bit in past of self-harming because I didn't like the way I was. There was so much going on, and I had that love-hate relationship, yo-yo dieting. I didn't like my body. But we as women become the biggest actresses.
Mm-hmm.
You have that smile. You're dying from the inside, but you have this amazing smile. Like, when we talk about not being your authentic self, because you're people pleasing, you're
Yeah.
trying to keep a facade going to say, I am okay, I'm fine, but you don't, because there's nothing to talk about mental health and stuff like that back in the day. And now this is what I do is like help women to say, love your body because your body is your best friend. We eat a lot when we're happy, we eat a lot when we're sad. So basically, our body is the thing that gets battered the most, but
Yeah.
we don't prioritize it enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't exercise, or we over exercise because it's that psychological thing that I don't like my body. I want to be like that person, but that other person wants to be like you, but we don't look at that.
Mm.
And this is why I kind of changed the way women think about themselves on a one-to-one basis. We go through different scenarios, we go through their journey. And then through that, I'll offer at one of the last sessions I offer is style and color. So once you've worked, because I'll never offer it first, I'll give them the choice. I'll work through the body issues first.
Yeah.
Let's get to where you need to be,
Yeah.
and then I'll make you look great. So my thing is working from the inside out.
Yeah. I love that, Mina, because that's kind of like how I started as well, like with that whole yo-yo dieting, with that whole self-hatred, self-harming.
Yeah.
Mine was via food. So, I became bulimic at the age of like
Yeah.
22, 23, and I got this positive reinforcement. So I was 108 kilos, got down to like 55, 56 kilos. And everyone was like, oh my God, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, And I'd put this brave face on. And, as I said before, like, nail varnish and, makeup covers so many sins, like drying skin,
100%.
brittle nails and all that kind of stuff. And I think that is why we do what we do today, right? Because we've been through it and we can help guide these women. And self-love is key.
Oh, 100%. And do you know what? There's self-love and there's self-love.
Yeah,
You can do things like pamper yourself, and
yeah,
that's all self-love. But for me, it's like self-love is really like look at your lumps, bumps, warts, scars.
yeah,
It all tells a story, and that's your self-love first.
yeah,
And then go and do the other things.
yeah,
But once you start, that skin to skin, I teach women how to do a look in the mirror and stuff like that.
yeah,
And I think you've been to one of my workshops, and like looking at yourself in the mirror, it's one of the hardest things to do because you're confronting yourself
yeah,
and you probably haven't looked in the mirror. I have lots of clients who don't have mirrors in their house, and I do it in a fun way because look, life is doom and gloom. You're feeling crap about yourself as well. So I try and put an element of fun in it with activities, but to get the seriousness, in whatever I teach them, empower them, but with fun. Mine's always with fun rather than there's enough people out there who will really go into depth. And I'm like, I can't do that. I want to see you just look, you're smiling already. It's that smile.
yeah,
Once you start accepting who you are,
yeah,
you know, your face changes, the
100%.
look, and you do become lighter. You see women, I mean, Ushi, when you coach women, you see how their body language is, how they like half smile. Women just don't smile from the heart anymore
No,
because we're so like drawn down with society. We have the pressures out there. You have to look this way. Not only that, then you go through, it comes down onto the kids. So that generational cycle keeps going, but we need to break that.
yeah.
Slowly, slowly it is, but we need to break that generational cycle. Otherwise, we're going to still have those kids, the next generation after that, feeling that way about themselves. And social media doesn't help at all.
It doesn't. It helps on a
No.
business front, like getting your name
Oh,
and your word out there, but actually scrolling mindlessly is not going to help your mental health.
I think it's one of the most negative impacts you can have on yourself
Yeah.
by scrolling, thinking, well, or even with business as well. I know you say with business and stuff
Mm.
like that, people get that about running their business. Why is that person doing really well? Why am I not doing? I'm doing the same because, one size does not fit all, right?
No. And you have to bring yourself, your honest, true, authentic self to the forefront,
Exactly,
right? Um,
exactly.
you mentioned mirror work just now. What? Can you go into that a little bit more? I know I've been there, I've seen mirror work. Can you just talk to us about why looking in the mirror and looking at our souls and ourselves is so important?
Do you know what? Because we don't look at ourselves we just look at the way we look externally.
Mm.
We forget who we are because do you know what? When we're born, we come naked.
Yeah.
When we die, we go naked. But
Mm.
in between, we don't look at ourselves enough.
Naked.
Yeah, we don't look at yeah, exactly. And there's a reasons because growing up, that's not the right thing to do. You shouldn't be. You're vain. You're this. You're that. How many times has that's been said to you, all of you guys, all of us,
Things
lives
like,
growing up?
I was told don't laugh too much because people think you're easy.
Exactly.
What?
It's just those kind of I think do the mirror work and stuff like and it's one of these it's really powerful but it has to be guided because you need to know what you're doing with your clients because you could make them or break them
Yeah.
if you don't know it really well it it can actually I've had women who've come to me who've been through other people and they're even more broken than they started so it's just making sure because it's so powerful and you've got to get time. If you sat there, just literally looked at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? Who do you see?
Mm.
Do you remember that little 5 year old? Oh, I always talk about this little 5 year old girl. What was her hopes, dreams, and ambitions when she was 5? I did a post recently on my Instagram about that 16-year-old girl. What were her hopes, dreams, and ambition? And
Mm.
then I spoke as my 55-year-old self. So
Okay.
where am I? What did I forget that girl because everything else took over in life? So sometimes we have to work looking in the mirror. You go back to that because when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you really look at yourself in the mirror,
Mm,
you can see your old self and you
mm,
can see what's happened to my old self.
mm.
Where
True.
am I? Who am I?
Yeah,
Why am I the way? Why am I the way? You can question yourself. Once you start talking to yourself,
absolutely.
you'll get the answers by the way you look at yourself.
And you can also change your mindset by looking at yourself. I feel like
100%.
it's really important to have to look at yourself and go, this is where I am today, this is where I was, but this is where I want to be in the future. So it's that mental fitness, right? It's that mental stability, resilience that you can go, right, well, I am ready to move forward. Whatever challenge you've been through, like you've been through multiple challenges, it's about
Yeah.
actually, do I now sit in that challenge and stay there, depression, anxiety, worry, self-hatred, or am I strong enough to go, no, that's where I want to be? And then you work towards it.
Do you know what I want? Do you know what I do? I sit there going, damn girl, you've got a lot to do here.
Yeah.
Stop sitting in front of the mirror. Go and do. And this is where, and this is how it can switch
Mhm.
over time. You start doing that to yourself, and sort of, you become that person. You're thinking, do you know what? Damn, you look good, girl. And
Mm,
you've got to don't look for external validation. Validate yourself first. And this is what we don't do enough of, validating who we are.
yeah,
Because we're so looking what everybody else is doing, and you just want validation from anybody else. But look, that's why the mirror work is really important, so powerful. Look at yourself first.
I love it.
Validate yourself.
Yeah, 100% validate yourself. You are known for putting crowns on women's heads. I saw at your last event you did a catwalk and it is beautiful. But it's not all just fun and laughter
No.
and walking on a red carpet, right? So what does spirituality and faith mean to you? Because actually I think that we as women need to have that to be able to become our most authentic self.
You know what? Spirituality can come in so many forms.
Yep.
Yeah, faith can come in so many forms as well. You don't have to believe in one God. There's a lot out there. Do you know it doesn't even have to be God? It's having faith in something. It doesn't matter what it is. When you talk about spirituality, there's so much out there now. What is your purpose as spirituality? For me, it's like, what's my purpose? Who am I? What's I look into who I really am? That's being spiritual. When I talk about the mind, body, and soul, if your mind's like, I want to be somewhere else, how are you going to get your soul to align with your mind?
Mm.
And how the hell are you going to get your body to align with it? Because it's, the connections aren't there. So for me, it's like I start with body. Once I love my body, right? My mind's got it that I love my body. And then guess what? My soul's going to automatically say, I love both of you.
It's
And
the
it's
yeah, go on.
individual. There's too many labels out there,
Mm,
but I think you've got to look into who you are spiritually because
mm.
it all starts within.
Yeah. And I definitely think the first step to that is self-awareness of who am I? What is my purpose?
Exactly.
And then self-improvement, whether that is your health, that is your reading around, whatever it is, that is your healing journey as well.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to go back to something you mentioned about healing. Is like, I'm ready to just live who I am. And so what are your thoughts on healing? Obviously, it's important, but for me, there's only so much you can do. You have to be able to enjoy what comes from that, right? So can I get
100%.
yeah.
I think I've come to a stage where now I think I've been on almost a year's healing journey,
Mm,
doing so much self work, understanding about me, who I am, where I came from, ancestral. We talk about there's things, curses, and all that kind of stuff. And I feel that every bit has been ticked for me.
yeah.
So what I want to do coming into the new year now is like everything I've learned about myself, everything that's been released, I want to kind of go into my new year and enjoy that journey now. I've done that self-work. So for me personally, if I keep doing it, how am I going to know if it's working?
Okay. Yeah.
So for me, I think we've had this conversation. For me, it's just like, right, next year is all about Mina, be free. You've done all the hard work.
I'm like a
And
bird.
exactly. And do you know what? It's having those songs in your mind and stuff like that. Free like a bird, I'm a woman, all these kind of things. That's going to take you further.
100%.
And I think, I don't know if that comes with age as well, because I'm 55 and I'm like, right, I'm not going to live another 55 years, right? I could do, but you know what? There's a long way to go. But for the next 30
You even
years of
want
my
to?
life, if I got my faculties,
Yeah.
if I got my faculties in my health, who knows? I'm never going to say no. I want to be working for the next 20, 30 years. I want to see transformations in women. I'm not ready to give up. Once you give up doing things you don't have a purpose in life, and so I'm making this my purpose.
I love that. When does life begin, Mina?
Life is always there. Life is always there. Life never ends until you stop.
Mm. I think for
So,
me, yeah, go on.
no, I was going to say, when do you think life begins?
Life
I'll throw that
begins
back out to you.
when you are completely authentic to who you are as a soul and as a spirit, and you completely go, fuck it, this is me.
There you go. And that's once you get that, and I think I'm there.
Yes.
Don't, yes, I'm still going through my grieving journey. There's going to be days where I want to shut that door and not speak to a soul. But doesn't mean my life ends.
No.
My life is continuing, but I just take a pause.
And you're allowed
I'm just
to.
taking a pause for myself.
We call it a pit stop.
Yeah,
So a pit
exactly.
stop, a bit of inner work, inner self-love, and then carry on, right? So, okay. So
Exactly.
do you have any tips for someone out there who's listening right now, just feeling like they aren't living their best self, they aren't living that true life? Have you got any really quick tips that they could put into play into their lives today to just help them take that next step that they need to kind of on their journey to becoming their most authentic self?
Simple. Who are you? Where are you? Are you where you want to be? You ask yourself those three questions because you need to know where you are. What's your purpose in life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's the quickest way to do it. Sit in front of the mirror and
Yeah.
ask yourself those three questions. You'll get your answers. Or write on a piece of paper, put you down and literally write down what your hopes, dreams, and ambitions or what were they?
Yeah.
Do they align with where you are today? If you're not aligned, then go and get yourself aligned. Because without being aligned and trying to do something that you're not truly happy doing, you'll never be happy.
And it won't be easy.
You make it harder and harder for yourself.
So there you have it,
And
guys. Mina's top tip. Look in the mirror and just ask yourself, who are you? What am I doing? Am I happy? And where do I want to be? So Mina, tell me, we're going to end this on a high. Now, what are 5 things about your life that you love right now?
well, actually, I'm sitting in Poland at my daughter's house, so that's number one. Then I've planned that I've got another young daughter at in London. Right, so I've got two places. I've got two homes.
Nice.
I can
3,
crash,
technically.
and then my home as well. Yeah, technically three things. Do you know what? I'm actually living. I love traveling. I've done a lot of solo traveling, and I will continue to travel. And my purpose in life is this is the happiest I am is when I see transformations of women, because it makes my life worthwhile.
Yeah.
When I get the comments, I just looked at myself naked in the mirror and I thought of you. Those are the comments I get in the morning. I'm like, yes. Or I went to get my first bra fitting. Yes, I thought of you. So every time somebody pings me, I feel I've got some wings. I can go fly higher and higher and higher.
So beautiful. That is so beautiful. Mina Kumari raising the confidence of women all over the world, body confidence, self-love. I absolutely love it. If somebody wants to get in touch with you or join your next event, I know you've got one next year. How do they do that?
Right. So keep watching, follow me on Instagram, Mina Kumari _ body confidence coach. I will start putting my events onto my website. It's minakumari.com. Everything Mina Kumari, it's MINAKUMARI. So keep following me. There'll be more and more stuff coming out next year. I do one-to-one consultations with my clients. Like you can have a one-off or you can have 6 sessions with me. and we'll just work it out, because my thing is one size does not fit all. And I make every single coaching session tailor-made to my client. And that's why I don't take too many clients on, because whoever I take on, they will get 100% of me.
I love that. I love that. So there you heard it. Mina Kumari _body confidence coach on Instagram. All the events will be up there. I will put her details in the show notes again. Thank you so much for your time today, sharing your beautiful vibrations and your wonderful, colorful life with us. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ushi. Thanks for having me. Take care. God bless.